Hello, everybody. I am back home in Ireland and I want to bring you today's match preview: Wycombe Wanderers v Leyton Orient. Now, I'm sad not to be able to be there to watch it, but I will be watching it online thanks to a lovely, lovely fella called VPN. So I'm looking forward to seeing tonight. It is a Tuesday after all, and we tend to do far, far better on Tuesdays than on Saturdays. So, it's Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient have struggled as well as us. So, in their past three games in the EFL Cup and League One, they have lost all three games. They lost an opening day of the season away to Charlton 1-0. They lost in the EFL Cup to Plymouth away 2-0. And then they lost at home to Portsmouth 4-0. These are, however, all pretty good teams. Plymouth are obviously in the Championship, having won League One last season. Meanwhile, Charlton and Portsmouth are two teams that I expect to be on the business end of the top of the table, so that is not necessarily a major surprise. Meanwhile, we have also played three games. We have lost two and won one. So we lost on the opening game of the season against Exeter. We beat Milton Keynes away from home in the EFL Cup, and then we lost to Lincoln last Saturday. So these are two teams struggling to begin their season in League One, and two very opposite ends of the spectrum. Wycombe would be one that would be hoping to create a playoff challenge, especially with the transfers made, while Leyton Orient, as champions of League Two, would hope to put up a good, solid fight to stay in League One. As for our last five games, we have not played Leyton Orient since the 16-17 League Two season. We beat them 2-0 away from home, and then we drew 1-1 at home. In the 15-16 season in League One, we lost to them 2-0 at home, drew with them 1-1 at home. And then in the 11-12 season, we beat them 4-2 at home. Names you may recognise from the 16-17 away win include Miles Weston and Matt Bloomfield getting on the score sheet, and you would hope that, considering on our last encounter Matt Bloomfield scored, that will give us some good luck heading into today's match. They were promoted from League Two as champions, but they have faced a raid of sorts as two key players in Paul Smith and Lawrence Figaro have headed out of the club. Paul Smith, former chairboy, heading back to QPR to be reunited with Gareth Ainsworth. He set up the goal last week for Stuart Sinclair as QPR won a match. And Lawrence Figaro, I believe, has went to Burnley to be a backup keeper. Vigoro has been replaced by Brian, and Jordan Graham, a player I was interested in, has replaced Paul Smith as one of the wingers. A key player that Wycombe themselves were interested in is Idris El Mazouni. He rejoined on a loan for a second season following their promotion. He got 3 goals and 2 assists in League Two, but was a fantastic, fantastic player and may be one of the players we do need to watch out for. So, they have lined out in 2 different formations since being promoted: the 4-2-3-1 and a 3-4-1-2. They played the 3-4-1-2 for the first game, I believe, the 1-0 loss to Charlton, and then played the 4-2-3-1 in the losses to Plymouth and Portsmouth. So they have the ability to line out in different ways, and it could be difficult to know what to expect from this team. They could try and stick with what got them success coming up from League Two, or they could try and play something a bit more pragmatic in hoping in staying up. Now, Wycombe have typically lined out in a 5-back formation, though the attackers have varied. We've lined out with 3 centre midfielders and 2 strikers, with 2 centre midfielders, a centre attacking mid, and 2 strikers. Or, against MK Dons in the second half, we lined out with 2 centre attacking mids and 1 striker. Now, Wycombe, we are struggling under Bloomfield, especially after our loss against Lincoln last weekend. There has been some backlash. We've still not won on a Saturday, and one of the big problems is the style is nice to watch, but it's struggling tremendously to get service into the strikers. Now, when we have scored goals this season, it has been against Milton Keynes when we played a 3-4-2-1 with one central striker in Brandon Hanlon or Dale Taylor, with TJ DeBar and one of those two on the other side. That has seen us have one person dropping deep while the other two make overlapping runs, and is something that I'm interested in hopefully seeing, be it Sammy Vokes in the middle, Dale Taylor in the middle, and players like Hanlon or TJ running off him. One thing we have seen is Cian Brecken has not looked up to speed so far. I still believe he's an excellent talent who deserves game time, but it may be necessary to bring him into the team a bit more slowly. And on that, we may see new signing Loney Kieran Phillips to make an appearance starting today. He can play in centre attacking mid. He can play in centre mid. Centre mid is not somewhere we've really struggled. We have Leahy, Potts, and Scowen. They started last weekend. But I do believe there is a need to change the style, change the tactic, or even change the players we're playing. I think the defence has been poor, but I think it's been silly errors rather than necessarily a lack of ability. We've seen that Tafazoli and Chris, very, very good centre backs. They've just not clicked this season, or they're a bit slow to start up. Chris is coming off from an arm injury, a wrist injury, while Tafazoli, another knock. Richard Keogh has shown excellent passing and good aerial ability, but has looked a bit off it when it comes to dangerous through balls on the ground. Max Striek has been unable to pull the same heroics that saved us many points last season, but we are facing better quality chances against us. It is quite scary, to be honest, that we went from a team that was able to grind out wins and draws very well to a team that seems quite prone to giving up chances. So a win here would be massive. There is discontent among fans, and a win here would give Bloomfield just a bit of confidence and give the players a bit of confidence. I believe that is a major issue. We started the season poorly, and I think that's affected the players' confidence in themselves. It's difficult when you make one mistake, you're more likely to make a second and a third, and it's very easy to get into a spiral. But I do believe the quality is absolutely there. Josh Gowan, even at half fitness, looked immense against MK Dons, and in general, that performance against MK Dons in the second half is something we should be looking to build on, but that is with the slightly different tactical style and a slightly different formation. We were more willing to do long balls because we had Dale Taylor in the middle dropping deep, with Hanlon and TJ on either side getting forward into that space, which is where we got our first goal from Brandon Hanlon. TJ as well had a couple of chances. I believe he should start. He has looked one of our most industrial strikers, and I believe he's earned the opportunity, especially with some of our other strikers and some of our other attacking players not necessarily performing to the standard as expected, and Bloomfield will have to make hard decisions. We saw that against Milton Keynes. Cian Brecken was given leeway to improve. He made a couple of bad passes in the second half, and Bloomfield just went, no, start warming up, and told TJ and Hanlon to warm up. I think there's a possibility we may see some shock drops. I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Keogh does not start. I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Vokes does not start. I've not been impressed with Sam Vokes so far this season. I do believe he offers quality, he's good with his feet, but I think perhaps he does not necessarily suit the style that Bloomfield is trying to go with, and perhaps Dale, Hanlon, Brecken, or Dale, Hanlon, Phillips would be far better as a fluid front three, but more importantly, a fluid front three that can press. That's something we saw against Milton Keynes. We were capable of pressing high and winning back the ball, which is where we got a number of chances in the second half. With Sammy Vokes, he's not going to press anywhere quickly. He did do a couple of good pressing movements against Milton Keynes, but there was a quality step. Milton Keynes did look like a League 2 team, to be honest with you. We're playing League 1 teams, and there will be a quality gap, and I don't believe Sammy has the legs to press for 60, 70 minutes, whereas TJ, Han and Dale, I believe they could press. I think that's something we need to consider because we are dropping back a little bit, even though we're looking to play well. I think a press would give us just a little bit of defence. We are getting caught because our fullbacks are getting pushed very hard to pitch, and then there's space for the overlaps, there's space for them to get forward on the counter. So if we pressed high, we reduce the chances that they're going to be able to sit on the ball and find that good pass. So if we lose it, you could have Hanlon and TJ suddenly springing a pressing trap to get the ball back and to potentially get a counter of our own, which is how we did well against Milton Keynes. There are changes that need to be made tactically. I think there's changes that need to be made formation-wise, and I think there's changes that need to be made in player-wise and who's starting. Bloomfield does need to be harsh. He needs to be ruthless. We're in a position now where we do actually have quality depth. Wasn't the same under Gareth, where if a striker wasn't performing, who's really there to replace him? We have the quality that if Dale Taylor puts in a bad couple of matches, put TJ in, put Hanlon in. If Leahy doesn't perform as a centre mid, we have Potts, we have Brecken, we have Phillips. Get him out. We can't be taking bad performances and having that be a norm. Same with the centre backs. We need improvement, but one thing I'm really positive is all the players and the gaffer, they're coming out and saying, no, this is not acceptable, which is good. They're not accepting bad performances. I don't believe we're in any major trouble. It's 2 games into the season. 3, and if you include Milton Keynes, which we won. We do not look lost. I think we just need to tweak little things. But Bloomfield's a new manager. This is his first full season. Gareth didn't have it sorted immediately. I don't expect Bloomfield to immediately have it. I personally knew this was going to be a transition season where we're learning. There's going to be changes to the club, there's changes to recruitment, Alexander Graham coming in, changes happening to the trust, changes happening on and off the pitch. So I'm happy to call it transition season, but we do need to see more out of this team. There is quality here, and we should not be losing 3-0 against Lincoln and Exeter. I'm hoping for a good game. It is a Tuesday, so we could keep our very, very, very good Tuesday record. I think it's something like 4 games, if you just count Ipswich. 4 games, 8 goals scored, 1 goal conceded. And Leyton Orient, I believe there was quality in their team. I didn't predict them to get relegated, but this is a game that if we want to be in the top end of the table, we need to be winning. And a win here tonight at Adams Park in front of the fans would give us a major, major boost going into the next couple of games. There is pressure on the players, there's pressure on the gaffer to perform, but I believe they can do it. So, let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm not going to be there. I'll be watching online, tweeting. I hope anybody who's going has a wonderful time. I hope anybody watching online has a good match. Let me know what you think about today's match. But otherwise, Wanderers, have a great day.